Today you will be learning about frequency tables. There's a packet that you should have. If you do not already have that, please make sure you received that. And then you will be filling out that packet as I go through the lesson here and teach you about how we fill out frequency tables and how we can use that to understand data. So today, you should be able to organize bivariate categorical data into a two-way frequency table. And you also need to be able to calculate row and column relative frequencies and interpret them within context. So if you take a look at the beginning of your packet, there is a box that talks about ice cream flavors. Okay, so I'm just going to show you here how we would go about collecting data and going through some things to interpret the data and take a look at that. So if we take a look at this question, some students were asked which of the following three ice cream flavors was their favorite. Either chocolate, strawberry, or vanilla. So let's say that we had 17 students, please put this in your chart, 17 students that preferred chocolate, 4 that preferred strawberry, and 7 that preferred vanilla. So if I were to count all of that up, that would be 28 total students. Again, please put that on your chart. Okay, so I can learn several different things from this data. If you take a look at the questions after that chart, we should be able to answer the following questions. So if I think about which ice cream flavor do most students prefer? Well, according to my chart, if I look back at that, the one that was the students answered the most was chocolate. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure you're filling these out on your paper, please. But that was chocolate. Okay, which ice cream flavor do the fewest students prefer? So if I look back at my chart, I see that I either have strawberry or vanilla, and strawberry had 4 and vanilla had 7. So that means that it was strawberry. So I'm going to write here strawberry. Okay, another question. What percentage of students preferred each flavor? Round to the nearest tenth of a percent. All right, so this takes us back to our probability knowledge. So if I look at my chart, I know that 17 out of 28 preferred chocolate, 4 out of 28 preferred strawberry, 7 out of 28 preferred vanilla. Okay, and if I go ahead and think about that, remember, in order to turn those into percents, I would first convert that to a decimal and then convert that to a percent. So on a calculator, I would take 17 divided by 28 and I get 0.607. Okay, so that means that the students that prefer chocolate, that is about 60.7%. Okay, on a calculator, if I take 4 divided by 28, I get 0.143. So for strawberry, that would be about 14.3% of students that preferred strawberry. And the last one, vanilla, if I take 7 divided by 28, I get 0.25. So for vanilla, that would be 25% of students preferred vanilla. Okay, so the last question here then, to interpret this data, it says, do the numbers in the chart above summarize data on a categorical variable or a numerical variable? Okay, so if I look back at my table, yes, there were numbers in it, but the question that was asked was categorical because it was on the different flavors of ice cream. So I would say here that the numbers summarize as a categorical variable. Okay? And that is because it represents categorical data. It does not represent numerical data. Okay? Because it's based on a category of chocolate, strawberry, and vanilla. All right. So, as we continue on in your packet, go ahead and flip your packet over to the back of the first page. There are a few questions here that I want you to answer. So take a little bit of time and go ahead and answer these questions. I'll give you about 2 minutes to look at that, and then I will come back and discuss these questions with you. All right, you've had some time to be thinking about these questions, so now I want to take some time to discuss these here. Make sure that as I go over these, you have something written down, and then we will continue on to another part of the work. All right, so it says here, do the students in your class represent a random sample of all students in your school? Why or why not? Discuss this with your neighbor. Okay, well, if you think about the class that was asked for this ice cream question, or even if it was our class that was asked, it would not be a random sample unless it said that the students were selected randomly. Okay, so it would be a sample of students, but not a random sample. So we're going to go ahead and say, no, the students were not selected randomly. So again, it was a sample, but not a random sample. Okay, number 7 here. Is your class representative of all the other classes at your school? Why or why not? Okay, well, if I think about our class, it would be representative of 8th graders, but it would not be representative of 6th or 7th graders. So it definitely represents part of an 8th grade, but not every single age group at our school. So I would say no, it represents 8th grade, but not 6th or 7th grade. Okay. The last question here on this page, do you think the principal will get an accurate estimate of the proportion of students that prefer each ice cream flavor for the whole school using only your class or our class? And I'm going to say no. And if you think about it, our class is only like 20 so students compared to 1,500 people here at the middle school. So I would say that it's too small of a sample to really get a good estimate. So it does not give a good example because of the amount of students that are here. Really, to give a good estimate, you would have to have almost every single person take that survey to get an idea of what the majority of Goshen Middle School would like for ice cream. All right. Next, we're going to go ahead here. I just want to remind you here that our objectives for today, we need to be able to organize bivariate categorical data into a two-way table. And then we're going to calculate row and column frequencies, relative frequencies, and interpret them. So again, if you are following along here and going through this work, you are working at meeting those objectives. We want to make sure you continue to follow along as I go through the rest of the packet. All right, so the next part of the packet shows you an example here, okay? It says that students in a different class were asked the same question about their favorite ice cream flavor. The table below shows the ice cream flavors and the number of students who chose each flavor for that particular class. The table is called a one-way frequency table because it shows the counts of an univariate categorical variable. This is the univariate categorical variable, so it's only asking about ice cream, and these are the counts for each category. So it shows you 11 students preferred chocolate, 4 preferred strawberry, 10 preferred vanilla, and there were 25 students total. So if we were asked to compute the relative frequency for each ice cream flavor, we simply take the number of students that preferred that and over the total number of observations. So this is just like probability. So when we found probability last week, it was the same thing. We could have said we were finding the relative frequency. So for example, since 11 out of 25 students answered chocolate, the relative frequency for chocolate ice cream, of students preferring chocolate ice cream, is 11 out of 25, which is 0.44. That is 44% of the class. So the relative frequency shows that 44% of that class prefers chocolate. In other words, the relative frequency is the proportional value that each category is of the whole. So again, it is just like the probability. Okay, so go ahead and flip to the back of that page, and I want you to take a look here at problem number 9. Okay. So problem number 9 says, what is the relative frequency for the category strawberry? So if you go back to your table, I'm going to give you about a minute. I would like you to go back to your table, find that probability or relative frequency of the number of students that preferred strawberry. And after you do that, go ahead and write a sentence on number 10 interpreting that frequency in context of that strawberry ice cream. So I'll give you about a minute here, and then I will go over that. All right, so if I take a look at that relative frequency for the strawberry, I know that 4 students preferred strawberry out of the 25 students. And if I take 4 divided by 25 on a calculator, I end up getting 0.16. So what that means is that the relative frequency is 16% of students preferred strawberry ice cream. Okay, so that's going to be my sentence here. 16% of students prefer strawberry ice cream. Okay, so taking that fraction, I can get that percentage, and that can tell me what percentage of students prefer that. All right, go ahead and take a look here at example number 2. So continuing with this ice cream situation, the principal also wondered if boys and girls have different favorite ice cream flavors. She decided to redo the survey by taking a random sample of students from the school and recording their favorite ice cream flavors and their gender. She asked the following 2 questions. Which of the following ice cream flavors is your favorite, chocolate, strawberry, or vanilla? And what is your gender, male or female? The results of the survey were as followed. 30 students who preferred chocolate, 22 of them were males. Of the 25 who preferred strawberry, 15 were females, and of the 27, 13 of them that preferred vanilla, 13 of them were males. Okay, so the values of 2 variables now, so ice cream and gender, were recorded in this survey. Since both of the variables are categorical, the data are bivariate. It's not univariate anymore because it's not 1. Uni meaning 1. This is bivariate categorical data because bi means 2. Okay, so bivariate categorical data. All right, so on exercise 11 through 17 here, we're going to take a little bit of time and we're going to fill in some data together, and fill this out and interpret some of these things. Okay? So, if you take a look here, number 11 says, can we display the data in a one-way frequency table? Why or why not? Okay? Well, the answer to that is no. Because we now have 2 pieces of data. So we have to we have 2 pieces of data. So we have 2 pieces of data, so it's no longer a one-way frequency table, it's a 2-way frequency table where I have you can see this visual here. I have the ice cream flavors going down while I have the gender going across. We've worked with some of these tables earlier in the school year in our Go Math program. So we're going to try this here today. So if I think back to what the principal said, okay, so unfortunately I'm going to have to be flipping back and forth, but I'm going to do this with you here. So we need to be able to fill this out. So the principal stated that 30 total students preferred chocolate. So if I go to the chocolate column, at the bottom of that I know that it is 30 students preferred chocolate. Okay? It also said that 25 students preferred strawberry, so I know at the bottom that's 25. I know that 27 students preferred vanilla. So I'm going to put that in the total for vanilla. Okay? And at this point, I can actually get that total to the far right because I can add 30 plus 25 plus 27, and that works out to be 82. Okay, remember the totals have to work up from the top to the bottom and the left to the right. So now I'm going to go back and look at the details. Of 30 students who preferred chocolate, 22 of them were male. So in the chocolate column here, 22 of them were male. So I should be able to fill in the female box So I'm going to take 30 minus 22, and that is 8. So that means 8 of them were female. Okay, of the 25 that preferred strawberry, 15 of them were females. So I know that the number of males that preferred strawberry were 10. 25 minus 15 is 10. Okay, and the last piece of information was that of the 25 that preferred vanilla, 13 of them were male. So to get the female, I take 27 minus 13, and I get 14. Okay, so now I just have 2 last total columns to do. So I'm going to take 22 plus 10 plus 13 to get that total, which is 45. And 8 plus 15 plus 14 to get that total, and that is 37. And to check here, 45 plus 37 does give me 82, so I know that I have filled that out correctly. Okay. Now you'll notice that number 13, right under your number 12, is another table. Okay. That table wants you to fill out the relative frequency. So remember, relative frequency is just like probability. So it's good that we have our numbers up at the top here because we're going to want to write those relative frequencies. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and help you set up the fractions, but in all reality, we really want the percentages, okay, or the decimal. So after I set up the fractions, I'm going to give you some time, a couple minutes by yourself, to create those decimals and then answer number 14, 15, and 16 for the table. Okay? So if I think back to my work here to find probability, I put a number over a total number to get that. So if I take a look here, for males that liked chocolate ice cream, that was 22 over the total people that liked chocolate was 30. Okay? The females then was 8 over 30. And then the total, that was 30 over 82. 30 people out of 82 liked chocolate. Okay. All right. Sorry, I have to go back to this, and I messed up on the total. Okay. So it's actually for the males that preferred chocolate ice cream, it was 22 over 82. There were 82 total people that were surveyed. So it's 22 over 82. This is 8 over 82. And this was 30 over 82. Okay? The strawberry is 10 over 82. Okay, for the males. The females was the 15 over 82. And the total for that was 25 over 82. Okay? For the vanilla, the males was 13 over 82. The females were 14 over 82. And then the total for that was 27 over 82. Okay, now my total box is here. The total was 82 over 82, so that equals 1, right? So that's 100% of people. The females, I had 37 out of 82. 37 out of 82. And the males, we had 45 over 52. Okay, so if you could, excuse me, write down what the decimals were. I'm going to give you a little time to do that. So take those fractions, turn them into decimals to find those decimals for each of the fractions there. And then go ahead and answer 15, 16, and 17. I'm going to give you about 2 to 3 minutes to do that. And then I will come back and go through those. Okay, so take about 2 to 3 minutes to do that, just like we did earlier in the packet, and then answer those questions. All right, so you should have gotten the decimals here. I'm going to go ahead and put them on the paper here so that you can see that. Hopefully you got the same decimals. I did round to the nearest hundredth. Okay, so for the males that prefer chocolate, that should have been 0.27. Okay, the females that prefer chocolate is 0.10 or 0.1. Okay, the total of students that prefer chocolate is 0.37. Males that prefer strawberry is 0.12. Females that prefer strawberry is 0.18. The total of students that prefer strawberry is 0.3. Males that prefer vanilla is 0.16. Females that prefer vanilla is 0.17. And total that prefer vanilla is 0.33. Okay, we have 0.55 over here for total males in the survey and 0.45 for total females in the survey. Okay, so if I look down here at number 14, 15, and 16, Number 14 says, what is the proportion of the students that prefer chocolate ice cream? So I go to the total here of chocolate ice cream, and that is 0.37, or 37% of students prefer chocolate ice cream. Okay? Number 15, what is the proportion of students that are female and prefer vanilla? So I have to match those two things up. So I have to come down from vanilla and over from female, and when I find that, that is 0.17, or 17% of students are females and prefer vanilla. All right, number 16, write a sentence explaining the meaning of the approximate relative frequency of 0.55. Well, if I look back at my table, the 0.55 is in the total for the male. So that means that about 55% of students in the survey were male. Okay? All right, let's go ahead and continue on here. We're going to skip number 17, and we're going to go ahead and go look at example number 3. Okay? So example number 3 here is similar. It says, in the previous exercises, you used the total number of students to calculate the relative frequencies. These relative frequencies were the proportion of the whole group who answered the survey a certain way. Sometimes we use row or column totals to calculate relative frequencies. We call these row relative frequencies or column relative frequencies. Below is the two-way frequency table for your reference. So this is the one that we just did earlier, so you don't have to keep flipping back and forth. To calculate the proportion of male students that prefer chocolate ice cream, you take the 22 that lines up with the chocolate and the male, and then divide that by the 45 total male students, not the 82 total overall, but the 45 male students. So that is 22 over 45, which is 0.49. Notice that you used the row total to make this calculation. So this is a row relative frequency. So we didn't use the total, we used the row total. Okay? All right, so I would like you to take some time on your own to read and answer number 18 and 19. And I want you to notice that 19 actually goes to the back of that page, and it has a B, C, and D on the back of that page. So I would like you to maybe take 5 minutes on your own to read through those, try to think about what it means for some of those things, and find those row relative frequencies, those very specific fractions that go for these problems. Okay? So go ahead and take about 5 minutes. The video will remain going, but will be silent while you do that. And then I will come back on and go through those answers. right, so you should have taken the time to take a look at those relative frequencies for the certain row that they were talking to you about. So if you take a look there at those problems, you should have then answered number 18, 19, A, B, C, and D. So if you take a look here, it says for number 18, suppose you are interested in the proportion of male students that prefer chocolate ice cream. How is this value different from the proportion of students that are male and prefer chocolate ice cream? Okay, so if you take a look here, the students that are male and prefer chocolate ice cream is 22 out of 82, which if I find that into a decimal, that's 0.27. Okay? Now that uses all 82 students that were actually surveyed. But if I think about the male students that prefer chocolate ice cream, that is 22 out of 45, which is 0.49. So that shows the males that preferred chocolate, not if they were male and preferred chocolate. Okay? So the first one uses that total of 82, and the second one that talks about males preferring chocolate refers to only the males, so that total was 45. Okay, so let's look at number 19 here. Use the table provided in example 3 to calculate the following relative frequencies. A, what proportion of students prefer vanilla ice cream is male? Is female. Okay? So if I look back at my table, I look at the females that prefer vanilla, and that is 14 out of 27 that prefer vanilla. Okay? So the prefer vanilla was asked first, so I look at that vanilla column, and of those 27, it was 14. So that equals 0.52. So about a little over 50%. So 52% of the people that prefer vanilla are female. Okay, letter B. What proportion of male students prefer strawberry? So it asks about the male first. So I'm going to look at the male row, and I look at that and I say, okay, 10 of those males out of the 45 prefer strawberry. So that is 0.22, or 22% of the males that were surveyed prefer the strawberry ice cream. So you can see that it's all about what is asked first. Okay, so take a look at letter C here. What proportion of female students prefer strawberry ice cream? So again, they asked about the females, so I'm going to go ahead and look at the female students. And out of the female, the ones that prefer strawberry are 15 out of 37, which is about 0.41 or 41%. Okay? Now letter D says, what proportion of students who prefer strawberry are female? So I'm going to look at the strawberry first. So that strawberry column, there were 25 total people that preferred strawberry, and the females were 15 out of 25, which is about 0.6. So 60% of people that preferred strawberry were female. On letter C, it was 41% of females preferred strawberry. So there is a difference there. Okay? All right. So let's go ahead and continue on here looking at number 20, 21, and 22. These are just interpreting and making some predictions here. So we'll go ahead and do these together, and then I will ask you to do some parts by yourself and then put that into the tray. Okay? So number 20 here. A student is selected at random from this school. What would you predict the student's favorite ice cream to be? Explain why you choose this flavor. Okay, well, if I take a look back at my table, I see that the preferred flavor was chocolate. So if a student was chosen at random, I would think that it would be chocolate because in the survey that's what's shown. So I'm going to say I would predict that they prefer chocolate because the majority in the survey did. Okay? All right, number 21. Suppose the randomly selected student is male. What would you predict his favorite flavor of ice cream to be? All right, so if I go and I look at the males in my chart, I remember that 27% preferred chocolate, 12% preferred strawberry, and 16% preferred vanilla. So again, if they were a male, I would assume that they would prefer chocolate. So I'm going to put chocolate here.
Follow on. Please come to the main office. Follow.
And I said that because in the survey, that is what it showed. Okay, and the last one here, number 22. Suppose the randomly selected student is female. What would you predict her favorite flavor of ice cream to be? Again, I'm going to go back to my chart and see that if I looked at the females, those females, it looks like 8 of them preferred chocolate, 15 strawberry, and 14 vanilla. So I'm going to say that I would predict that they would choose strawberry. And again, that is because the survey showed that. Okay, so again, if they're randomly selected, it's going to be very similar to that survey that happened with those random students. Okay? All right, so on this, so today you should have realized how to organize bivariate categorical data on a two-way frequency table. And then you should have been able to calculate those row and column relative frequencies and interpret them in the context. And again, this has to do with simple and compound probabilities. All right, before you leave then today, I would like you to go ahead and take a look here at the last part of your paper, okay? And on that is another example that talks about a middle school, okay? So it says here, every student at Abigail Douglas Middle School is enrolled in exactly one extracurricular activity. The school council recorded data on extracurricular activity and gender for all 254 8th grade students at the school. So it gives you some things. I need you to complete the table and then answer question 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay? So when you do that, that is using that knowledge of the things that we have already covered in our work here today. So go ahead and complete that and then turn that into the tray along with your packet.